Welcome back to my channel, guys. This is a part number 2 video about the block heaters. So if you are interested about those, please check my part number 1 video. Today is 9 o'clock Thursday and the temperature is minus 24 Celsius. So let's see how original factory block heater is performing on this vehicle. Okay, so I have a temperature gun, and as you can see on the display, the engine looks really hot, but in reality, when I'm pointing directly at your aluminum block, and if you look at the top left corner of the display, you will see that the temperature is about between 12 and 15 degrees Celsius. So the block is pretty warm, considering that outside temperature is minus 24 Celsius. This is plus 12, plus 14, plus 15. The expansion tank, it actually looks like it's a red, but when you look at the display, it's 0, plus 1. So that coolant is barely warm inside of that return flow tank. This heater core return hose is also cold. Now let's see if radiator is warm, and as you can see, it is not. It's in blue. There is no bright red, so the coolant inside of the radiator is not warm. So the only warm is the engine block, because it's aluminum, and the coolant inside of the engine block. It did not go, the temperature did not transfer anywhere else. I wish that this tank with coolant would be also warm, so I would have an instant warm heat going through the heater core inside of the cabin, but that's how it's been designed back in 2003, and it's working well. This is the type of a block heater that is installed on this particular engine, which is M12 engine, and this one from Mazda, but Mercedes-Benz is similar to this, so I'm just showing as an example. It's a 500 watts of power, and it's doing the job. It's been plugged in for almost 10 hours, but even if you plug in for only for 4 hours, it's going to do exactly the same job. I tested before. So I decided to install a different type of a heater, which is called a circulating tank coolant heater. It's a thermosiphonic. There is no motor inside. So if you've been watching my previous video, I've been showing this particular block heater, and I said that it has a motor inside. Well, it does not. This one is working as a thermosiphonic, which means that it's supposed to be secured in a standing up position on the low, and secured to the lowest point of your vehicle. So the gravity will push this coolant to this tank, and it will be heating up, and that heat will be raising and heating your engine, and that's how it's going to circulate automatically. Well, in my case, I secured it horizontally, and I did not care that it's not in up position, because that was convenient position for me. Why I did not care? Because I am not worried about that this tan is going to burn, because if you're going to connect it the way I did, without extra circulating motor pump, that coolant is going to be in this position, and that tan is going to burn. So that's why I hooked up power parallelly to this original circulating pump. So every time this heater is going to be working, this motor is going to work in the same time. So it's going to circulate the coolant through the engine, through the radiator, and through the heater core. So we'll see the difference. If I can just plug it in and warm up completely cold engine under 1 hour or under 2 hours, which is going to be more convenient if I put timer, for example, that is going to start up this heater at 7 a.m. before I go to work for 9 a.m. for example. If it's going to do the same job under 2 hours as this one is doing in 4 or 5 hours, then it's already worth it. Plus, I'm hoping this circulating motor is going to circulate coolant, and I'm going to have an instant warm air coming from my dashboard. So I'm going to unplug original block heater, leave the car untouched until it's going to be cold, and then I'm going to plug this one and time it how long it's going to take to reach the same temperature that this original heater is doing. So stay tuned. Okay, so my block heater is unplugged for so many hours. The engine is completely cold. It says in the corner -10 and more, because maybe I'm pointing at the plastic, but in reality it is -23, and it's going to be -28 tonight Celsius. So now I'm going to plug in this circulating pump heater that's going to kick in together with the electric pump, and I integrated a plug underneath of my bumper, so it's not going to look that ugly on the side. Really nice quality Noco silicone, soft silicone, and this lid is holding really well. So let's plug it in, and as soon as I plug in, you can hear that little pump is started to make noise, which is circulating cold coolant at the moment. So this pump is going to hit that coolant right now and circulate through the entire system. So let's wait for 1 hour. Right now it's 3 p.m. Let's see what's the temperature is going to be at 4 p.m. And while we're waiting this 1 hour, let's talk about the electric pump. So this is the original pump that was installed from the factory, and exactly same spot, same location as this one right now, except this one is a bigger pump, and I installed a newer model, which is a short, completely plastic pump. It doesn't have this bottom metal piece anymore. It's a short like this, because this one has brushes and the newer pump is brushless pump. So this one lasts probably no more than 2 years, and after that those brushes will get shaved and you will have to either replace brushes or replace the entire pump. And the newer model pump, this is a part number, completely plastic and brushless, and it's rated for 30,000 hours. So really reliable. It's making pretty much same noise, and but it's more reliable. By the way, this one is not as energy efficient as the newer one, so newer one taken very little energy. So how I powered that pump? I powered with a regular power supply, which is giving output 12 volt and 3 amps. It is located, in my case, right there. I'm going to remove this air box and show you how I hook. Okay, so I removed the top of the air box, and you can see the power supply here. I zip tied it so it's gonna have a good contact. I put dielectric grease inside, and I don't see much of a mud, so there is not much of a splashing in this area, so it should be okay. But I can also put inside of the Ziploc bag to waterproof it. And this is the pump, so that you can see that I drilled a couple holes and put a clamp through that. This is that was in my case the easiest way how to secure it. And I put a silicone hose right here, and this is that newer motor that I installed. Unfortunately, the mount is not the same on those two motors, because this one is smaller in diameter and this one bigger in diameter. So I had to put a clamp all around and secure it, and I inserted a rubber hose on that clamp so it will isolate that motor from the actual frame of the vehicle, so it will not be buzzing during the drive. It will not be touching and vibrating for the entire vehicle. So I don't have to listen inside of my cabin when this pump is working, because the ECU is also controlling this pump when needed during the drive, in cold or hot weather. You don't even know when it's kicking in, but it's not constantly working. So sometimes when you turn off your vehicle, you will hear that pump still operating, which is perfectly normal. It's circulating that hot fluid, coolant, through the entire engine, so you're not going to have any hot spots. So I removed this one. Obviously, as you can see, I just cut that hose, and on this connection right here, that's where I hooked up between the pump. So if you have one of those engines, M112 or M113, made before 2006, most likely that you're going to have exactly the same pump, which is not energy efficient pump and not reliable. So if you want to upgrade it with a newer pump, be prepared that the rubber mount will not fit from old pump to a new pump, because the new pump is wider, bigger. That's why I put that clamp, as you've seen. You can buy this matching rubber mount, and I will maybe one day. I just did not have time to look for that. But when it comes to a connection, make sure that when you buy that newer pump, you will have to buy a matching plug, because you see there is a square on one side and a round on the other side, and on the old pump it's just square on both sides. So plugs will not be interchangeable, but you can buy those if you go to a local junkyard. You can buy it from there, just cut it off from one of the vehicles, or you can buy it from Amazon brand new for like under $10. Now there is one more thing that I forgot to mention, that there is a check valve at the inlet port on that pump, which is like a ball, plastic ball, and I removed it. So if you plan to do the same setup, you better remove this check valve, so the water can be flowing both ways when the engine is off, so you will not have any kind of airlock in the system. Well, at least that's how I think. But if you're planning to use it stationary like it's supposed to be from the factory, as a factory by the design, in the upper position, you must have that check valve. Okay, so 1 hour later, it is 4 o'clock, and when we're looking at the engine bay, we see that the entire engine is glowing. I wish that engine would be so hot as it looks on the display, but it is not. It's just glowing because it's warmer comparably to the outside temperature, which is minus 24. So when I am pointing at the same spot where I pointed before I plugged in, it was minus 12. Right now it's fluctuating between 1 and 4 Celsius, which is warm but not sufficiently warm yet. The expansion tank is glowing. It's also, and the heater core return line is glowing along with the heating element. So the engine bay is, and look at the radiator. Radiator is glowing really nice, but it's not really hot yet. So 1 hour is okay, better than -12, but it's not yet ready for, you know, instant hot air to be coming from the vent. So I would wait for another hour. Obviously it's doing better and faster than the original block heater, which is only 500 watt, and that one is 750 watts. Plus I'm doing all of this experiment with the open hood and with a removed cover, which would be holding a little bit of warm air, little bit. And don't forget that the temperature is colder than 1 hour before. Before it was -23, now it's -24. So it's doing okay, but let's test it after another hour. Now it's 5 o'clock, 1 hour later. The engine is glowing and the temperature should be higher, obviously. And yes, it is higher. It is showing 9 degrees Celsius, fluctuating between 8 and 9, which is higher, double digits than 1 hour before. And I'm not surprised that it's not any higher than it is, because current temperature is 27 degrees, comparably to 1 hour ago that was 24. So it is normal to see that it's taken longer because of the lower temperature. I'm pretty happy with the result. Radiator is glowing. I'm pretty happy with the result, even though that I do understand that original block heater would do exactly the same job. It would just take longer. Instead of 2 hours or 3 hours, it's going to take 6 hours. So this is just for the convenience that I hooked up that electric pump and this 750 watts of element. This one is only 500 watts. So the money wise would be exactly the same, that you spend 6 hours of warming up your engine or 3 hours of warming up with more powerful heater and plus the coolant pump. So money wise is the same. It's all about the convenience, if you want to wait 6 hours or 3 hours or 2 hours at least. Obviously the smaller digits, like if this would be the -15 outside, it would take only probably hour and a half to reach this temperature, not 2.5 hours or 2 hours. I do start my block heater with a remote fob, as you can see, so I can do it from inside of my house. But there is also all kinds of timers that you can set it automatically or from your phone. Obviously, if I would connect also an original block heater and two of them would be doing this heating job, it would probably take only 1 hour to reach +15 or even maybe higher temperature. Again, it all depends of the outside temperature. Okay, well, on my next video I'm going to show you how I'm going to weatherproof my battery and what kind of special weatherproof onboard charging system that I'm going to install. So I'll see you in my next video, guys. For now, God bless you. Bye.